It's race day. Welcome, race fans, to a showcase of driving perfection. My name's Webbo, and let's get down trackside. Hold on tight, we're gonna go for it. Boom, that's how it's done. Whoa, easy. Surely not all the way around the outside. Oh yeah, we're cooking now. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. This is a roller coaster of emotions. The drivers are pushing their machines to the limit and beyond. Whoa, it doesn't get any better than that. We wait for the lights, the revs build, and so does the excitement. And it's drop the clutch and go, go, go! Okay, driver, it's hammer time. This driver is an artist, and the racetrack is their canvas. Did you see that? Did you see that? Wow! Let's watch it again. Ooh, hopefully they'll get away with that one. What a great start, and it looks like we can build on this now and really make a good race of it. There's the fastest lap, folks. No mercy on the menu today. Yeah, sideways is rarely ever faster, but you do get style points. And we roll the safety car dice. Leave them alone. They know what they're doing. Oh no, someone's gone bowling into turn one. What a shocker. Moving left, jinking right. Keep them guessing. Lawn mowing as a side gig. And we go down the inside, Danny Rick style. We're on the edge of our seats here, folks. The racers are pushing their limits, risking it all for that coveted first place position and the all-important win. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The two cars ahead are fighting with each other. It's slowing them down. And through we go! That driver is a complete and total. A word has not been invented to describe how complete and total they are. But they are one, and a complete and total one at that. And it all comes down to this, the final lap. If you smell what this driver is cooking. This seems like as good a time as any to ask if you've subscribed yet. There's your Grand Slam, pole, fastest lap, and the win! Well, welcome race fans to Deviant Racing League's visit to Spa today for, first of all, the GTDPro race. My name is Webbo. Just looking at the standings currently on your left of screen right now. 69 points Nismo has at the moment. I don't know why I said that like Yoda. But Zanshin catching on now 56 with the drop score. Junkai in third and Zen in fourth, with Don't Need Time in fifth place, all within a possibility of overhauling for those podium positions end of season. Glovas is close behind on 43, possibly slightly out of touch is Larry. In seventh place on 34 with Floody on 33, Camzilla 32, and a tie for 10th place, Mercury and Izzy on 27, down in the relegation line, which the drivers will obviously have to take part in our post-season playoffs. Will be Comacopa, Chaotica and Preston. Comacopa has a decent cushion over Chaotica and Preston at the moment, and the combined team standings from both divisions sees Chameleons on top with 181, Karate Tortoises 136, with Team Universal in third, Team Amazon in fourth, Team Pike Fitness in fifth, Team Cannonball in sixth place, with Team America at the back of the standings at this time. Zen appears to be the first car on track at the moment. Why don't we get on board with Zen as he is touring around this fantastic Spa circuit, where we will have a lot of fun. This isn't everyone's favourite Spa treatment, says Kuros Kai. Everybody loves a Spa day here in Deviant Racing League, though, I am sure, and I think we can't wait to get everything ready you then here with the race. Let's join Zen on board as he's preparing his outlap for qualifying, and we'll ride with Zen, I think, as he's the first car out on track. We've got a nice clear view down towards the first corner, La Source, down at the hairpin as we've gone past the lap counter. Try and pick up an apex, but don't worry too much about the apex. It's all about getting on that throttle nice and early, so that you can get the maximum speed as you head towards what is a difficult Eau Rouge compression and Radion rise over the top. Here we go then, stealing as much apex through the first part of Eau Rouge as possible. Blindly commit to going over the top of Radion, and then it should be full throttle all the way until about 50 meters before the Les Combes corner entry, the Les Combes chicane. Here we go. Perhaps 60 meters, leaving a small margin here, Zen, at the outset. I could be completely wrong though as we go through Les Combes, and now Malmedy. Watch for understeer on the exit of Malmedy as the track falls away to your left, and then you're heading straight downhill into Rivage. Very, very late apex necessary for this one for Rivage. You can double apex it if you want to through the Jackie X corner, formerly known as No Name, and then running deep and long in towards Pouhon. You want to make sure that you drop a gear or two, get that apex hooked up, but not too well. Don't touch that inside curb, and then the path of least resistance all the way out down hill once again towards Les Fagnes and the Piff Paff chicane, avoiding those bollards, of course. Otherwise we will pick up a penalty or damage on the car. Through out of Fagnes into Stavelot then next, a double right-hander. And then again, it's really important to pick up that throttle as soon as you possibly can, moving through and out of the second part of Stavelot, because then you've got the longest run on the on full throttle, I believe anyway, towards Blanchimont, which is another super fast left-hander. Up into sixth gear for Zen. He's on the soft tyres, of course. You can flat out go around that corner, although perhaps not in the race on medium or hards in lower grip conditions. Big stop down to the bus stop chicane, which bears very little resemblance to bus stop chicanes stateside, but it is certainly a double a double 90-degree corner, right then left, and Zen sets a fastest lap, a 2:18 fastest lap. Izzy's next across the line. He sets a significantly slower lap. Junkai has gone into provisional pole position. Comacopa into third place. Let's join S. Berman as he's about to cross the line next. He goes fifth ahead of Izzy. Glovas will follow and go fifth himself ahead of Berman this time. And then we'll find out where Camzilla goes, settles into eighth place. Nismo somewhat tardy on the racetrack here. which is not not expected, but his form has been incredible throughout the course of today's this season's run. So leading the championship at this time is Nismo. Can he lead qualifying after the first flying laps? He goes across the line. Definitely not. Perhaps just a push and prepare lap for Nismo, down in 13th position. Who had that on their bingo cards for today's race? I hope everybody is doing well. Hi to Kuros Kai, of course, and to Alexandra and Gus watching at home. We joined Larry, father of Gus, on board during qualifying here. Wind is quite strong today, 3.1 meters per second. I think that equates to something in the region of 9 yards per second, if you measure it in yards. I'm not quite sure what the correct measurement of wind is if it's not meters per second, but to give you a little idea, that's fairly strong into various parts of the circuit. Tailwind into La Source. Out of the bus stop comes Larry then, 14th on track, and just starting his flying lap. So while we've got Gus watching, why don't we follow Larry around his next flying lap? Don't Need Time is in fact fastest after the first laps. Only 10 minutes of qualifying. Drivers will be lucky to get 3 flying laps in here, especially if they go into the pits in between. So we look forward to seeing that. So let's go up and over Radion. You in the driver's seat, you're kind of pointing at the sky to go through there. Yeah, big change here for everybody. Flat out then for Larry, down towards Lecom, which is the name for both the right and the left-hander. Then in towards Malmedy. We have another car in front of us at the moment. New soft tyres going on Don't Need Time and John Kai's cars, as it is with third place Komakopa. Komakopa has not been having a great run of form so far this GTDPro season, but third place will be a great place for him to start the race and stay perhaps out of trouble. A little bit of oversteer towards the left-hander of Jackie X there. Larry got almost colliding with a bollard, but didn't in the end hit anything. So that's always good. That's what we like to see. Running through nice and steady. I think just getting ourselves a nice banker lap in here, as Preston sets a new record as well for himself, puts him 13th. So not really a record to write home about. If you're joining us, do say hello. I know that Mr. Fish is expecting to get some good audience later on. This is the GTDPro. We will have GTDs following immediately after this race here on the channel, and then we will also have more GT racing straight immediately after that, but not with the Deviant Racing League. So if you are into your racing, there'll be plenty of it here this afternoon. Flat out down the hill towards the big stop of the bus stop chicane goes Larry, hitting the brakes around 110 meters, something like that, as we bang over the initial initial part of the bus stop. Across the line then, Larry goes 8th at this early juncture, and we haven't been on board with Don't Need Time just yet, but this lap, just an out lap. This won't be anything special at all. More out laps happening. Let me try and find you a driver who is not on an outlap, shall we? Let's go to the trackside camera though. It is, I think we're looking at late afternoon right now. We may well be about to get some change in conditions towards an evening race. My apologies, I haven't been completely across the conditions of the race today, so I will do my best here to find that. So we've got Zen then still on an outlap. Let's have a look. Is Glovas there? Glovas is on a hot lap, it seems, at the moment. So clicking through the gears, through the Rivage corner. I must remember to make sure that I adjust my temporary EV exposure so that we can see something in the dark. In the warm-up laps, it was not proving to be very easy at all. So yeah, we shall do our best here. So Glovas P7 at the moment. We'll get an update on his lap after the next right-hander. Sunset race, says Kuros Kai. Heading down towards the bus stop we go. You can see the sunset in the mirrors of Glovas. Don't need time, I think we'll be now on a hotter lap. Getting a large amount of wheel spin coming out. No improvement from him. Let's go back to Don't Need Time, who is done and dusted. Try and find you a driver who is definitively going for it. Here is Berman. Pole last time, if I remember correctly. CFS Berman can lift himself up from that that final position of provisionally 4th. Don't need time. Junkai, Komakopa, your current top 3. So pedestrian through the bus stop in these heavy GT3 cars. Berman gets onto 3rd position, deposing Komakopa at that late stage. Let's see, can Zen do something similar? I wonder. Zen goes 5th, Komakopa stays 4th, and on the 2nd row of the grid. Looks like we have our grid for you then, which is fabulous. So we wait to see what is going to happen then with the next run and into the qualifying results. We shall find everything out for you. Here we go then. Let me just change that setting because we might need to make sure that we can actually see something with the drivers' runs. I'm going to go for 2. And hopefully we can see. So Don't Need Time takes the pole position ahead of Junkai and Berman, with Komakopa 4th. Zen is 5th, and all within a second here. Nismo in 6th over this long lap. That is certainly very impressive indeed. Nismo in 6th, Glovas in 7th. Izzy is in 8th position, just within that 1 second, and driving with the VR, as is Komakopa. Larry is in 9th, Floody in 10th, with Mercury, Camzilla, Chaotica, and Preston bringing up the rear. We don't appear to have a safety car driver ready for today, which is slightly confusing me. But yeah, hopefully we will see what's going to befall and happen as a result of no safety car. Perhaps Kuros Kai can let me know. As Kuros Kai says, Don't Need Time has apparently got a lot of it to spare, which is yeah, a good line for sure. I'm just going to try and pick up and capture some race onboards if I can, if I've got time. A little bit tricky. I was a little bit late to the party today, unfortunately. It's not really working for us, is it? If I place Komakopa's video in here. Safety car lap 9. Where is our safety car driver? That's me. I'm not driving the safety car. As we've got Don't Need Time ready to go as well. A 60-minute race awaits us. I'm going to turn that off because it's not happening for us, unfortunately. I would love to make driver onboards happen, but sadly, I think it's too much to try and take care of in this short period of time. Looks like the race is about to get underway for us as we get ready for 60 minutes around this fabulous circuit. We want driver names on, we want all on here, and we want to get underway for you as 60 minutes around Spa-Francorchamps in the sunset conditions. Round 6 of the championship begins right now as they drop the clutch and go. It's Don't Need Time, got the inside line into the corner as it looks like Junkai is having to deal with Berman coming up the inside as well. It's the GT start, so we're going straight into Eau Rouge and Raidillon. And let's see if anybody has had an issue coming through the corner. Nobody so far. So back to the head of the field as Don't Need Time has a good lead. Junkai also has gapped Zen out there at the start of the race here as Zen is dealing with S. Berman and also with Komakopa in the Porsche. Nismo looking for an opportunity down the inside as several drivers are trying it on and can't quite make their way. Team America settling down into something like 12th and 13th positions right now. And let's see as Preston is in 14th. And last at the moment, no safety car as far as I can see, as Arcane not running. So not in the safety car, says Jim. Will they have to police this themselves is the question from Kuraz Kai. Junkai runs through. So we're expecting lap 9, but whether the drivers actually adhere to that or not will depend on what the leader decides to do, I imagine. Junkai, second position, rocking some DC stickers today, so we'll investigate those during the safety car period if we get them. The skyline of Gotham City running across the rear wing. Zen is in third place for Team Amazon and S. Berman for Pike Fitness in P4. We've got several drivers just joining the lobby because there's spare seats, a spare seat at least, and they'll be unable to take part in the race. Of course, Komakopa is in 5th with Nismo, championship leader, in 6th position, and starting on the hard tyres, has moved up to 6th already. Komakopa also on the hard tyres, and it looks like the pace of the championship leaders, Nismo, looking quite threatening here behind Komakopa at this point, but Berman looking perhaps the closest, most threatening driver here on his way out. Gets a little nose adjustment on the way out of the bus stop, perhaps just slightly out of his ideal line as they run into lap 2, and there'll be opportunities aplenty down into La Source, I feel, for anyone. Looks like Floody might be having a look down the inside, might be trying to get a better view of the outside line run. Larry's picked up a half-second penalty. He'll have to pay that, I think, down the Camel Straight, which hurts. And you saw just as Floody went through La Source just how difficult it is to get a low-slung GT3 car all the way through. We've got Don't Need Time heading in towards Les Combes. Behind him, we've got Junkai coming up, and then it's Berman who's made his way past Zen. Fantastic to see already. How on earth did that work? He was behind him coming out of Raidillon. And then it's a slipstream job. Looks like he just had a much better run on the hard tyres as well. S. Berman ahead of Zen also on the hards. And that's how the job got done straight away. Fantastic stuff from him as Zen in a new take on the Amazon livery. I think it might be looking at a cardboard box inspired front end, but we'll have a close look at that. Komakopa still 5th with Nismo in 6th. Izzy also doing well there in his VR helmet in P7. Glovas, who has ditched the chameleon theme of the season and gone straight to a higher state for March Madness, has gone into P7 with just Izzy in P8. So was that an issue for Izzy just on the run through there? Let's have a look. Izzy was P7 here. Let's have a look. Just runs out wide through Pouan, and then it is panic stations because there is no grip out there, and Glovas takes that position and says thank you very much indeed. So Izzy down to 8th. We've got Floody, who was with his teammate on the first lap, is now up to 9th place and picking up positions on the hard tyres. We've got Mercury in 10th. Larry in 11th after that penalty he just paid, so he was overtaken by at least 2 cars, I think, through there. And we've got Chaotica in 12th, Camzilla in 13th, Preston at the back of the grid at the moment. Everybody, from what I can see so far, on the hard tyres, with the exception of our leader, Don't Need Time, who has gone for the option strategy. Very interesting to see, but he's already got a 2.1 second gap after just 2 complete laps. Or not even 2 complete laps if you don't really count the GT start positions of this circuit. Nismo down the inside finally of Komakopa, who's been waiting to do this for some time. Let's find that on board and see how we managed to get the better of Komakopa. The door is most definitely open. Komakopa early on the brakes in that Porsche, and then we just wait really late for the braking position. Nismo just waiting for Komakopa to brake and just outdoing him. And now Komakopa has Glovas in the Genesis racing right up the inside. Glovas with a better run through Bradion as well, and top speed helping him to get in front into Malmedy. And then Komakopa, unfortunately, a little nerf in the rear of Glovas, but didn't take advantage of it. You hardly ever see Komakopa take advantage of contact. He's very sporting, but Glovas with a 1 second penalty. Was that as a result of the contact between the two of them, I wonder? There is a bump. He then hits goes across the apex, and unfortunately for him and for Komakopa, who won't like to see that, he picks up a 1 second penalty for skipping the apex while using the throttle. And that is going to hurt Glovas. Komakopa may try and hang up behind him, but the onus was essentially, I think, on Glovas to lift the throttle through the apex and deal with it with the stewards later. Could possibly have escaped that 1 second penalty. We'll never know. Floody in 8th has a penalty as well. Larry may be hoping to pick up a position as a result of that. Let's follow Floody as he's about to take that penalty. It'll take, I think it's round and past Radion down the Kemmel Straight, rather than the approach through to Blanchimont, where they're going to be heading after Stavelot now. Mercury looking good, already getting a good drive here. Looks like Floody in the Viper. It was a car of choice in the first round of the season, and since then has been appalling a race car. So it's basically built for Daytona and not a lot else. That was the penalty being paid then, and he and Camzilla, Floody and Camzilla for Team America down in 10th and 11th positions, unfortunately, with Preston in 12th. Izzy, I think, has gone into the pits, as has Chaotica, unscheduled, come out on the medium tyres after just 3 laps. That is not what they wanted to do at all. Junkai now unable to live with the pace of Don't Need Time, who's opened up a 4.5 second gap here right now. So running through, and now it is Berman on the hunt here, hoping for that slipstream, that beautiful slipstream, as we run through and wait to pass Junkai. We've got the better braking position here coming up for the Lecom corner. You can run side by side into Lecom, but Junkai deciding no, I'm not ready to fight. It's early in the race, it's before the safety car. Why fight too hard? Likely to only end up making contact and struggling. Komakopa down into 7th behind Glovas and Zen now, as Jim says we'll call it a virtual safety car. And will we see rain? Kiros Kai asking if Komakopa is fuel mapping. Can't possibly give you an answer to that, unfortunately. Sometimes the right hand corner of the screen will tell me what the drivers have currently got selected. Most of the time it's the track map, but you might see at different points through the race. There you go, there's a brake balance indication on Mercury's car for some strange reason, and I'd be surprised if he's running 0 on brake balance, but hey, that might be the best way for him to manage those tyres at this point. Let's have a look at Junkai and Berman. Junkai, I don't think, able to catch Berman, whose speed has been prodigious in the last couple of races here. Since they started changing that livery on the Pipe Fitness car, it has suddenly started going a little bit faster, so maybe using a lighter compound of vinyl wrap, perhaps. Zen in 4th is running then. This is the Team Amazon using the Prime Video branding today, and is ahead of former teammate Nismo and current World Championship leader of the GTDPro series. Down into the bus stop, Nismo probably too much apex through the first part of the bus stop for comfort there. As we continue through the course of this race, that was a personal best lap from Zen, and Glovas is drifting back away from Nismo, but has passed Copa. Let's see if we can catch that in the replay buffer there. Glovas, no, already passed Copa, so unfortunately missing that one. Copa in 7th, and looking, as the driver, as the audience has already mentioned, looking a little bit slow for now, as Team Warner Brothers, I believe they are now to be known. They've changed ownership, and Universal Studios have abandoned the team in favour of sister company Warner Brothers, and we'll have a look at what that means for the drivers' liveries. The two Vipers then, black on grey and grey on black, are running here with the snake skin transfers as they run down, but in 10th and 11th positions, unfortunately, at this time. Preston, 1 second penalty on the car, on the hard tyres he started the race on. Bit of a cartoon helmet going on there, and then running the medium tyres, I think, here in the Waffle House sponsored McLaren is Izzy. Lot of tyre squeal as he goes through Eau Rouge less than perfectly, and Chaotica down for Team Cannonball. Also in the McLaren, it looks like not the favoured car, or at least not a car carrying a great deal of luck so far today, as Don't Need Time is in the exact opposite position. He's not the safety car, but he's got the course to himself as if he were a safety car. Running through those medium tyres at quite a rate of knots, though. I'm worried about getting those tyres through to the end of lap 8, start of lap 9, but we shall see for that safety car time period. John Kai chasing down Berman, 1.1 seconds, the gap between those two drivers right now. There's a slightly closer battle here between Zen and Nismo. And Nismo, that BMW seems to be a good all-rounder, and definitely handling nicely enough and set up nicely enough here for Nismo in this championship, but in an unfamiliar position at this point. But it wouldn't be super surprising to find Nismo right at the sharp end at the end of this race, as he has been frequently through the season. So perhaps let's go and have a look at Glovas versus Copa, which the gap is now about 1/4 of a second only. So Copa heading down in towards La Source. They've got the headlights on. It is darker on board for the drivers than it is for us here, as I've turned that lighting exposure up, so that we will have a hope of actually seeing the drivers and the cars by the time we get to safety car period. I'm worried now that it'll be too dark, as it was in the practice session. Copa just slightly over the white lines there, I think, on the way through, but I don't think currently picking up a penalty, at least. So we look at the Joker side of the Batman Joker split here for Copa for that Team Warner Brothers liveries, running into the into Lake Com now. I was advised, I caught wind that there were some cease and desist letters going out from various team lawyers around the Chameleons. It's taken a while, but the lawyers have got involved, and I believe that that they are having to retire the concept of stealing other drivers' liveries. Yeah, that seems to be the rumours that I'm hearing anyway. Therefore, we have one safety car and one Ohio State basketball livery for today. So Camzilla and Floody, some 7 seconds off the pace of P9, 26 seconds after just 6 laps off the pace of our outright leader. Let's go back to Copa then. Kuros Kai saying, Comma's doing Batman livery, you're not supposed to see Batman coming. No, indeed. And Batman does in fact own the night. So as we get into that night period, expect at least the left side of Copa's car to come into its own here. Unfortunately, that might cause a degree of imbalance across the two sides of the car. More right-hand turns than left on this clockwise circuit. Means that he needs every bit of help on that left-hand side, especially that left front, running through Blanchimont. Running through these faster corners. Glovas pits from P6, as does Nismo from P5 on the hard tyres. This is only lap 6. They want to get
filled up with fuel before the safety car, it seems. But Nismo down and Glovas down and out into the pit lane and running down in the race order as a result. Perhaps looking for that undercut effect, but burning through the fuel as well. Nismo down to 15 litres in the thirsty BMW at this stage. Mercury's in 6th, Camzilla and Floody now 7th and 8th. There is Nismo into the pit lane. And we go back to our leader, Don't Need Time, whose medium tyres are holding up pretty well here. Would like to reach the end of this lap, if not the lap after that, in order to pit before the safety car period. So that I would estimate has to be the aim overall here. So let's see what else. Everybody getting rid of the hard tyres, says Kuros-Kai. As second place Berman is 5.9 seconds away from Don't Need Time and the lead of this race. But that's all immaterial at this stage, thanks to the safety car period on its way through. John Kai hasn't let Berman get too far away, and really it's just about being near or near enough before we head into those safety car points of the race. How are Zen and Karmakopa doing? Well, Zen has certainly coping with Karmakopa's pace and has gapped him to 5 seconds back. Karmakopa, if he was fuel mapping, he can stop that now, I think, if he wants to fuel up during his next pit stop. I don't think it'll be his only pit stop, starting on the hard tyres. They do have to use hards and mediums. They can use softs if they want to, but they must use hards and mediums. So those two compounds are the required tyre today. You can see stars are starting to come out in the evening sky, as Don't Need Time now pits with 6% fuel remaining. S. Berman also pitting at the end of this lap 7. And then we will expect to see whoever's leading the race come the safety car lap of the start of lap 9. We will expect to see them in. Now, it could be a good idea to run those tyres and the fuel as low as possible during that safety car period. We may still be able to see some liveries through the safety car period here. I hope so, as Karmakopa passes the opportunity to go in the pit lane on the hard tyres with about 24% or litres of fuel remaining in the car. Everybody else, though, into the pits, so that's definitely going to help Don't Need Time, who would love to re-emerge from the pits ahead of the pack. Doesn't want to let too many cars get in ahead of him. Let's see if we've got anybody passing that pit lane. Well, Izzy's already been in once. I think must be an unscheduled pit stop for Izzy, and he's going to pick up some positions now as he comes round, and the pit lane exit is on his right after La Source hairpin. So let's see. Do we get anybody heading out of the pits? I've hit the wrong button there. So let's go back to Izzy as we go up the order. Lots of fuel going into some of these cars here. There we go. It's actually after Radeon the GT exit, and you can see dangerous place for cars to be hanging around. But Izzy up to 4th thanks to the elongated safety car pit lane speed limit situation that has been happening to the drivers. Here is John Kai, though, going in towards Le Fagna. Pits are closed for lap 8, says Kuros-Kai. We are back to that rule after I think pausing that rule at Saint Croix thanks to the extended length of the circuit. So just making sure I get all my rule changes and everything in position and accurate for everybody. 41 minutes and 45 seconds to go, as John Kai now is the leader of the race. He will have to run the safety car period as a VSC situation. The driver's limited to 70 miles an hour, maybe slightly higher because we're at Spa, but I haven't heard of any different or any change to those rules. We'll expect the hazard lights on. They are indeed on. And then while we've got some light, let's have a look at these liveries. It's a Superman DC Universe livery. We've got all manner of Looney Tunes, I want to say, on the rear wing. Can't quite make them out, unfortunately. But there is John Kai with his Superman livery, and the city of Metropolis in the background, I'm assuming. Here is Karmakopa, more of that Batman Now, for me, as a Batman aficionado, what I'm not getting here is the fact that we have Heath Ledger's Joker on one side, and we pretty much have the cartoon and Michael Keaton era Batman symbols on the other side of the car. So that's upsetting me. We've seen the safety car false livery. I'm trying to get through these while we're under the floodlights. As the Waffle House Team Cannonball entry, making use of the Pennzoil style Webbo comms stickers on the back to match the plan. Orange is the new black for Pike Fitness, or orange is the new rainbow fade, I should say. As Junkai needs to slow it down, says Kuros Kai. And again, we've seen the sticker happy Cannonball team livery. Turtle Wax still haven't improved Nismo's blue. They haven't paid for Nismo's sponsorship. And then let's have a look. I think this is supposed to be, is it gold or is it a cardboard box brown? It's really hard to tell now in this period under the safety car. Let's have a look. What is Yonkai doing? He is reasonable speed. He has at least slowed down a little. And Komakopa's currently doing 90 miles an hour, 9-0. You are allowed to catch the safety car, if I remember correctly. Have Turtle Wax paid? They have got the proper livery on and stickers on Larry's car this week. So seemingly alternating the drivers, taking care of those. We need to fix that and get those stickers sorted out. Again, the Amazon Prime colour scheme with the Scuderia Ferrari Tricolore down the roof centre line. Very nice from Mercury. And then we are seeing very little here of the grey on black Camzilla Team America and the black on grey for Floody. You'll have to trust me on that at this section of the track. Rather difficult for us to see. As Preston comes through, he's also gone with that. I think it's gone for the orange. Let's try and get some lights. No, it's a full red version on the rear of the Team Pike Fitness car. 14 cars are with us at the moment. It will be available to the drivers to pit now, I believe, now that they have done a lap. They have done lap 9 under the safety car, so they can come in, and we will wait to see if they continue to do that and come into the pits. Then the drivers who have yet to pit, Junkai and Komakopa among the leading group at very least. So here are the drivers with a full clear night sky in Spa. So I don't think we are expecting any weather, any negative weather patterns to come in with precipitation, but who is to say? I'll have to find out whether any drivers are currently showing the weather on their lower right corner HUD display. Car number 85, John Kai, going through the fuel mode here. Doesn't need to save any fuel as Komakopa comes in just behind him, and Don't Need Time picks up the lead of the race once again. I think he now has to stay under safety car lapping rules, so limiting to 70 miles an hour, and that will help at least the drivers who have just pitted to recatch comfortably the train of cars. I think I might be tempted to have a little try and see if I can get that weather, get a weather forecast. Let's have a look. That's 20 miles out, 5 miles out. I'm not seeing any rain, unfortunately, for the next period of the race. Nothing rolling in, I'm afraid to say. So we do look like the sky is telling the truth, and the drivers are not expecting any rain for the duration, the period that we have coming up. We've got a moment of quiet. Just a big thank you to everybody who takes their time here among the audience to like the video. Very, very grateful for that. I'm just going to try and do my best to try and get you that driver view here as much as possible. No, that's not working. Okay. I'm just hoping to get you Comacopa's view of things, if I can. Try and give you something down here. It's not great. It's not great at all. Let's have a look. Can I change this at all for you as we head up towards exit? I'm just learning how to use all of this stuff, so bear with me. But I think it'd be great to be able to see Comacopa's point of view as we go through. Is there a crop button? Let's have a look. See, I found something that approximates a crop button. I don't think I've got time to do it for you, unfortunately. Let's see. No, sorry guys. I'd love to get Comacopa's view, and I will try and fix that for another time, for the next time we go racing. But we're about to get the green light here. Don't need time leads Berman and Nismo, with Zen, Larry and Mercury in 4th, 5th and 6th. And it's green flag racing, is it? Are they going to actually wait until the start, until the GT start? They're going to go side by side. They're going to go 2 by 2 here. Are they? What is happening? I'm waiting for the green light. The drivers, there's a little bit of confusion here. Don't need time, I think, is waiting. Berman screams through and decides that the green flag has not been pressed when it should have been, and just goes for it. Berman overtakes then. Don't need time on the way in towards Eau Rouge, perhaps deciding that Don't Need Time was taking too much time, who then picks up a half-second penalty on the run out. In all of the confusion, a very strange restart there. I was expecting it on the run towards last source. I think most drivers were, as they went side by side, and Berman deciding to deal with it there and then. But the run down towards Lake Com, the drivers then reconnect, and things are reorganised back as they perhaps were, with just Berman getting ahead. As Arcane says, what on earth just happened? Well, I was hoping you might explain it for me, Arcane or Kai, or Jim. But were drivers actually given an instruction of where the green light and flag was going to be given or not, without a race control to leave a message in the driver chat? That was very, very strange. Arcane saying, my bad for not presumably showing up to be the safety car driver, or being unavailable, I should say, but certainly not present right now. Berman then on the medium tyres is trying to make hay while the sun has set, but you know what I mean. Basically, he's on the medium tyres, he's on lower fuel, and he's hoping to try and get the medium tyre stint out the way here at the head of the field as far as he possibly can. Don't Need Time is running through the Stavolo right-handers, and let's wait and see what next happens as a result. Don't Need Time has gone on to a second set of hard tyres, not a full tank, so hoping to split the difference here. That was the penalty being paid, and Nismo gets through. So there is Nismo, after running in the midfield early doors, is now right back in the hunt here for a provisional podium, and possibly win on fairly spent medium tyres at this stage. Perhaps the worst medium tyres on the grid, as he stopped during lap 7 for that new set of boots. Nismo leads former teammate Zen, who is now representing Prime Video, and Zen also on those mediums. It seems like most of our drivers have gone for this hard medium strategy, and then we'll try and use a second set of mediums at in the last portion of the race, if at all possible. But it's very difficult to say whether it will indeed be possible before we get anywhere. I thought that was rain on the track, but it's just the light effects of the headlights on the asphalt. So very frightening moment for me, at least, as Don't Need Time is now using that slipstream to try and hang on to the drivers up ahead. His restart has cost the drivers behind significantly, you'd have to say. Mercury Flooded Camzilla now 3.6 plus seconds behind P4. So a big change there at this restart. The drivers should be all together, but confusion at the restart has caused a big gap in the field to have developed already. Any bets that GT Sport gets rain? Well, it's difficult to say. At the same rate, at the same track at the same time, they shouldn't, surely, should they? But it's possible. 8.8 seconds off the lead. It's Floody, and make that 10 seconds away from the lead. Teammate Camzilla, and then we've got some great pack racing behind them. Preston, Glovas, Izzy, followed by Junkai, Komakopa, all as you would expect, frankly. Here, I've just noticed the kind of remote control style aerial sticking out the top of the McLaren, which looks rather funny. It doesn't move at all. There it goes. There goes Izzy side by side with Glovas, elbowing his way through. I think Glovas is then having to deal with Junkai. Let's maybe have a little replay of that one and see how that felt from Glovas' position here. Heading down towards Fania. Opens the door somewhat. Izzy then makes a bit of a meal of getting through past Glovas, who's just waiting to get on the throttle, nice and patiently. Glovas then forces the door. The door is then forced open to Junkai, but I'm assuming that given the penalty, Junkai didn't really capitalise on that at all, as we scatter freshly mown grass across the apex and heading down towards that bus stop chicane. Komakopa dives down the inside, but it's too little too late behind Glovas, and lives to fight another day as those beautiful brake disc glowing light effects come through. Komakopa down in 11th position. This was not part of his plan today. That looks like potentially a pass, was it, for Preston, or was it? No, it was Izzy attempting a pass on Preston, and Preston closing the door. Now we've got some action as we will come up through Eau Rouge over the hill of Radion, and I think that Glovas can time his acceleration well. He should be able to potentially challenge for both positions here. He will wait to see what Izzy chooses. He will go fully right. We will go 3 abreast down towards that Laycom braking zone, and down the inside we'll do Glovas. Beautiful overtake. Looks like Izzy got past Preston at the same time as well. Let's see what that looked like from the position of Preston, shall we? As absolutely helpless here. He didn't really defend. He thought he was going to lose one place to Izzy, but Glovas down the inside comes a nice, neat overtaking manoeuvre. Ends up drifting wide. Izzy is still busy rubbing other drivers' paint off the cars. And unfortunately, Preston losing 2 positions as a result. We've got one set of yellow headlights at the tail of the field. That's Larry in the BMW. And European GT racing in the WEC and GT Championship. It should be the GT4s using the yellow headlights, not the GT3 cars. But anyway, so when you are there at trackside during the night runs, you should then be able to see, and so will the drivers be able to see who's who in their mirrors. S. Berman leads us by 1.6 seconds ahead of championship leader and multiple winners so far in this season 4.1, Nismo, with Zen in 3rd, and Don't Need Time having recovered a little bit after that chaotic restart. No pun intended, but Don't Need Time has also picked up a half-second penalty, and so that will allow Zen some freedom to operate without having to check his mirrors on these difficult medium tyre period here. Don't Need Time with a half-second penalty to pay. He's though on the hard tyres. He started on the mediums, and then we should probably get parity of tyre choice at the end of the race. Mercury also on the mediums with 26 minutes remaining. So for me, that communicates that the drivers will almost certainly be on the mediums at the final stint of the race, unless they've completely burned them out. Maybe Floody and Camzilla will struggle on the very tyre deg heavy, and frankly, bit of a handful of a car, Viper. They perhaps are running through those mediums a little bit faster than their rivals. They might have to consider the hards if they want to stop just once more. Personal best for Izzy. The two VR drivers together on track at the moment, Komakopa and Izzy. Let's see what else is happening, as we've got Junkai just behind them, and Junkai also on the medium tyres. Qualified well, but the race has fallen away for Junkai at this stage. Difficult to say exactly what is happening on the circuit by use of the eyes. That's why we've got the driver names on in these dark conditions. I think I probably should have gone to 3+3 on the EV correction. I shall do that for the GTD race momentarily, coming up after this one on the channel. Just reached the first stage of monetization, folks. If you're watching with us live, there are 3 minutes left for me to achieve my very modest goal of testing out the super thanks and super chat functions that should be available with you. No obligation at all, just trying out the functionality here. We've got Komakopa in 9th, who is just nosing ahead of Glovas at this stage. This is a very, very frantic portion of the race for the tail field runners. Nismo pits. He was burning through those medium tyres on the BMW fast, and I think that is an unusual one. I thought Ozzy was going towards the pit lane, but no, I think it was just a mess of a bus stop. First part opened the door to Komakopa for the second part of the bus stop, and Komakopa did not need a second invitation. Here we go. He's harrowing around the outside. Is he breaking in unfamiliar territory? Was there a touch between the two? I don't think so. I'm sure Izzy will communicate if there was, but that is how Komakopa got through. Just waiting super patiently to get through. Oh, thank you, Kai. That's very kind of you to meet that target. Really appreciate it. So Komakopa in 7th, Junkai in 8th, with Izzy in that 9th place, Glovas in 10th, and that's half a second penalty for Junkai. Once again, I imagine that was stealing too much apex through Eau Rouge, was it? Let's ride on board with him. We're perhaps a little bit, no, it's Radion. It's over the rumble strips. He clearly lost time. How unfair can you be? GT7, when a driver clearly loses time, I don't understand the point of giving an additional penalty. But there you go. That is the rules that we are racing with. Shouldn't be a surprise for anybody, but it hurts nonetheless. Again, I think if you blend out of the throttle, even though you're going over the rumble strips, I think if you blend out of the throttle, you can usually avoid them, but it's basically shortcutting the track as far as GT7 is concerned. And Nismo down in 13th position now after the pit stop, has a fairly decent length run to go here. He's had to brim the tanks full of fuel, and he's going to actually have to manage these tyres a little bit. Nismo is 56 seconds away from the lead of the race. The majority of the other drivers have got have got longer to run, of course, before they can pit, but that is a big gap. 56 seconds for Nismo. Let's keep an eye on that, as I think both BMWs have chewed through their tyres and perhaps regretting their strategic choices today, but that looks like it might be difficult for them to recover to the podium here. 13th and 14th position. Larry is 1 minute 19 away from the leader, who is Berman, who is now pitting, much to their relief. But Zen goes through and does not pit. So Zen will go that little bit longer on these medium tyres. He can probably do one more comfortable lap on the mediums. He's certainly got at least 2 laps of fuel on the car. Maybe he'll do that and empty the tank. But you don't want to get into the point where you are losing time on the tyres, even as you are gaining time as the fuel burns away. Don't need time. Talking about time, don't need time is in 2nd position, and I think probably just got the one long lap here on the hard tyres left to run in terms of fuel usage. Anyway, he probably can manage another one. But as soon as he's got enough tyre life enough race left on the medium tyre to run comfortably, I'm sure he will head in towards pit road. Mercury is in 3rd place. Now that promotes Comacopa, who also still has yet to pit. All of these drivers, as we run through, are still needing to pit. Comacopa's got ahead of Camzilla and Izzy now, as we saw him get through past Izzy earlier on. And both Camzilla and Izzy have got those half-second penalties to pay. Might be as good a time as any then to head in towards the pits and get your final set of tyres on. If you are losing time around these other drivers, you need to try and do something different. Either go much longer or go or basically pit opposite to pass is usually a good instruction for drivers losing time with each other. We've got Glovas in 7th place as they continue to fight Izzy and Camzilla, and then they'll be fighting for lower positions here momentarily as they come through out of Fania and in towards the Stavolo double right-hander. Izzy still fighting hard here, trying to get the cutback working. It's difficult and not a drastic speed differential as you head in towards the next corner. They're actually going to block the track here as they go off throttle. Through will come Glovas, threading the needle, not trusting the ghosting of the game, and who can blame him for that? And then losing momentum will be Izzy, but perhaps not enough for the drivers at the following through. John Kai et al. Down in towards the bus stop we go. Glovas and now Camzilla and Izzy continue to fight, but Camzilla decides, I've had enough. My tyres have also had enough, and so does Floody. So it looks like very much according to plan for Team America in the Viper, as we have 20 minutes remaining. And I apologise for catching that klaxon on the stream, because that was horrible. Berman, who was at the head of the field, has emerged from the pit lane ahead of Nismo, but Nismo's target is fairly clear to him as a result. Larry is in 13th position, so we will expect to see Zen coming out of the pits around this group. Will Zen come out ahead or behind of Berman and Nismo? Time will tell. Down we go in towards La Source, and then we will perhaps ride on board, shall we, with S. Berman, and we'll see if we've got a car coming out of the pits on our right as we head towards the top of Eau Rouge. Nothing from him. Is it coming up from behind? No. Zen is on his way out of the pit lane. Here he is, but some fair distance behind. And will he actually indeed lose time here, as Mercury is still on track? So obviously Larry has pitted. Nobody anywhere near Zen. So that period, I think Zen ended up losing, thanks to Nismo being on the new tyres versus the old tyres of Zen on his in-lap. So Nismo catching now. And I think still the net lead of the race is the battle here on screen. Berman in 7th right now with Zen in 9th. Expect to see everybody else pitting this lap, or soon at least, for the final stint here of the GTDPro Challenge round Spa in the absolute dead of night as we are here. So hopefully we'll get an earlier safety car in the GTD series. We shall see if that's possible. I've just lost my my window. There we go. Everything back to normal. And Nismo is in 8th position. But this is net second. Don't need time pits now. Wow, he got that tank down low. May he even have run out of fuel there. Let's just see. Did he indeed run out of fuel on the way into the pits? No, look at that. Fantastic calculation from him. Brilliant to see. I love it when the drivers get it absolutely perfect. Glovas comes in as well, and now we'll see Berman and Nismo, who is very hot on the heels of Berman. Remember, Nismo, the first to pit on this group, so we shall see if he goes through and manages to undercut everybody, but then suffer tyre deg and difficult running in the last 2 laps of this long and torturous Spa-Francorchamps circuit, the home of so much racing, but of course most famously the Belgian Grand Prix. as we head then in towards and over the hill. I'm aware that many drivers may not yet have caught up with the actual Grand Prix. I've had a request not to mention anything about the race, so let's try and abide by that in the chat as well if you can, and that will be very well received by the members of our audience stateside who have yet to be able to catch the replay race. Nismo into second place with Berman back into first place. Don't Need Time exits the pits, and he is some 16 seconds away from them, but stopping latest on the medium tyres. Let's see what he can do now with those brand new fresh mediums. He's actually put quite a lot of fuel on the car. If Nismo needed a full tank 3 or 4 laps ago, I don't see how Don't Need Time needs a full tank now. That's a question for our experts in the chat here today. What do you make of that? The drivers, there's Mercury having pitted, not filled the tank. Comacopa not quite, but almost. So they have to calculate. It's a difficult calculation, and the game does not help you in endurance races to time, only to laps. Does it tell you how many, what your refueling need is required at the end of the race? So they have to do some calculation. They have to figure out how many laps this race will run to. Sometimes it's quite marginal. We had a slightly quick first safety car lap. I don't know, maybe the stewards will be looking into that later. A fantastic battle going on though on screen with Junkai in 8th position, everybody on new medium tyres, and absolutely loving the grip that is on offer to them compared to what they had previously with that most recent pit stop. This group led by Glovas in 7th, Junkai in 8th, Camzilla in 9th, with Larry in 10th place. Larry somewhat off the pace for Team Karate Tortoises. I think the engineers very much steering the setup development towards Nismo for obvious reasons, as Nismo heads the championship, and represents their best hope. But Larry wants to make sure that he is right there and puts in a great move against Camzilla. Let's have a look. How easy was that? Probably getting a double or even triple toe here, Larry. Comes out of Blanchimont nice and smoothly. Camzilla giving him the inside, almost defended quite late. But this then is Larry down the inside, just very patient on the brakes, didn't try to do too much, and just knew he had that track position in the important position on the track. And back then to live racing as he's got the gap on Camzilla. Junkai next then to follow somebody through that all-important Eau Rouge and Radion section of the track. Larry has picked up a half-second penalty, and he might end up having to do that job all over again on Camzilla as Junkai Glovas defends to the middle of the track. Smart racing from Junkai smart racing from Glovas doesn't really give Junkai an option heading into the pit lane, as Kurios Kai says, I think Nismo is going to need an extra pit stop thanks to that tyre wear. Let's have a look at him, shall we, in a moment. I will remember to check that out. But Nismo, if he needs to pit again, needs to get ahead of Berman by some distance. But he may be just driving this at less than 10 tenths this race as a result of being in the championship position that he is in fact in. I think he is taking it easy on these tyres to try and get them home by the look of things. He's not harrowing and hassling S. Berman. I think he's got the underlying pace in the car to do just that, but certainly Berman driving very nicely today and faultless so far. Zen in 3rd place is a little bit on his own here, as is Don't Need Time, who was 16 seconds behind the lead when he came out of his final pit stop, is now 17.3 seconds behind that gap. Mercury's in 5th, and then we have Comacopa out there in 6th position with just 11.5 minutes left to go before the checkered flag falls. This is back with Glovas then in 7th as Junkai continues to chase him down, and Junkai looks good coming through Blanchimont. Glovas defending again heavily to the inside line. Junkai trying to chase this round, and a beautiful overtake from Junkai. Love a bit of that, as both drivers were very, very fair here. This is on board with Glovas. Didn't get a great run through Blanchimont. That kind of gave the impetus there to Junkai, who is handed the outside, and Junkai brakes super late, doesn't aim for the first apex, aims for the second apex, and completes the move nicely, and gets back onto the racing line where he wants to be accelerating on the way through. And that's good for Junkai, who moves up and already is unlocking some extra pace on the car. So Nismo was about 50% worn on those mediums when we last saw him. On certainly the front left is over 50% worn. So that is danger zone for him. He's got a really healthy gap behind. I think he's going to let Berman have this win unchallenged, or at least unpressured at this stage, in order to make sure those tyres get home. Let me know if you think different, Kai or Jim, anyone else who's watching. But that's my suspicion. I hope that that Gus is still watching, and Gus can tell me if he's enjoying the new liveries of Junkai with the Ohio State, and perhaps the Waffle House sponsored car of Izzy, who I think is in 11th. Yes, so 11th position. Just to remind Gus, if he is watching still, this is the Waffle House on the hood. They're just about black to red fade. So let me know what you think. I know you always like the Karate Tortoises liveries driven by your dad, and that's fantastic. But those are the new ones today, as Larry is at the back of the grid, and that's surprising. I think he's just stopped again. He has just stopped again to get home. Again, with slightly too much fuel on board, I think, for the remaining 9 minutes. And Nismo does pit. Exactly as you suggested, Kai. So props to you. There you have it. Nismo into the pits, down to 3rd place. Will he actually drop down behind Don't Need Time? It's going to be fairly close, I think. But this for the championship positioning, of course. Nismo will have a tighter line going on out of the pit lane. But no, look, he's actually only just left his pit box as Nismo. So Don't Need Time runs into 3rd place. Nismo will be lighter on fuel. It's going to be 5th. Is he actually going to be out to 6th place? It is for Nismo. This is huge for the championship. He's refueling by a significant margin as well, Nismo. This is crazy amount of fuel, is it not? For 8.5 minutes of running, he's put 4/5 of fuel in the car. Sometimes the drivers just don't pay a full attention during the pit stop, or have to do something out of the cockpit for a moment while they go into the pits, but that feels like a very large amount of fuel for him. The podium all changed then, apart from the top, with S. Berman in 1st position. We have Zen in 2nd place for Amazon. Gus says it's too dark. You're absolutely right, Gus. It definitely is too dark to see much at all. I'll try and fix that for the next race, but I'm sure you'll have had enough by then. In the pit lane, you can see what's going on, and down the main start-finish straight. Certain sections like this, it's okay, but it's all part of the challenge for our drivers to run these 24-hour day-night cycles throughout the course of the season. We wouldn't want every race to be like this. We want weather, we want changing light conditions, and all sorts, but a different challenge from time to time is useful, especially on a track like Spa, where drivers spend an awful lot of practice time. Komakopa started in 4th place, has actually got the car back to 5th, so that is looking good for him this stage. There he is in 5th place. It's Berman pits as well from the lead of the race. I am absolutely surprised by this. I was going to use an English turn of phrase there that probably wouldn't mean a lot to you guys. I was going to say gobsmacked, which doesn't translate well anywhere else in the world, I don't think. But Zen is in 1st place now with 3 seconds of a gap ahead of Don't Need Time. Berman still in the pit lane, being passed, I think, shortly by Mercury. Let's see, where is Mercury? He has just passed Berman. So is Komakopa, and then we will see if that actually works out for the former leader of the race as well. Nismo. Where is Nismo? Down way down the order, as Berman is on his way out of the pit lane, but Nismo's down in 12th. So unless everybody is going to make this a 3-stopper, which would surprise me, This is huge for our championship. Nismo having a very poor day in terms of strategy or tyre wear or whatever it is that's befallen Nismo, and to my surprise at least, Berman, as I think Berman is going to lose out to Floody, who's got a better run going down the Kemmel Straight. Indeed. 5.5 minutes to go now. I think the drivers are going to have to just chill out, just take it easy on these tyres, and try and gain as Izzy gets some style points going there. Very cannonball relevant with that tail slide. I wish I had a slow motion replay I could do for you, because it would spend longer looking. But then Izzy runs out of tyres. I think Izzy is struggling, but the tyres appear, to me at least, to be pretty good condition. I do like this 3-colour Izzy. Belgian colours, of course, red, yellow and black. So depending on which way you tilt your head, it could either be German or Belgian. But yeah, has not decided to go for frites with mayonnaise, French fries with mayonnaise, but gone for waffles, Belgian waffles, and managed to pick up that top dollar Waffle House livery. There is Nismo then in 12th, and I think that's the fuel effect that has meant that Berman has got so much further up the road than him. So I do wonder what's going on the pit wall for the Team Karate Tortoises. Their Sensei Rat, who usually guides them so well. I think someone needs to go check on that rat and check he's still awake. Don't Need Time is in second, following Zen. Zen then, this could be a really good moment for Zen, who was so close throughout the course of last season to Nismo when they were both racing the Lamborghini. Zen really messing up though through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Don't Need Time with that later pit stop has got virtually even medium tyre wear and just screamed on through past Zen. A big surprise there to see, but Don't Need Time had pace earlier on in this race when he was on his own. He's back in the lead of the race, back on his favoured medium tyres, and he could well be getting in towards a famous victory here. I don't mean to just keep bleating on about the same thing over and over, but boy oh boy is Nismo overfueled. Let's have a look. Where is he? 12th position. He's got half a tank of fuel remaining for just over 3 minutes of running, as Kiroskai and Jim having a bit of a question mark here as to whether it be 24 or 25 laps. Here is Don't Need Time heading into Le Fagnes, and he has 57 minutes on the clock. So yeah, looks like they will have time to finish the next lap before the clock goes dead, and so we'll be starting the white flag lap soon. Not necessarily everybody will be in that situation, particularly the driver in 14th position. There is Don't Need Time then, running through Blanchimont. Still has Zen, not too far away. Both of them having to sort of manage the car, both fuel and tyres, on the way towards the conclusion of the race. Just Don't Need Time then. If he crosses the line with 2 minutes 40 left to go, well, no, I think this is now the final lap. 24 and final lap I think we're going to get. So I think the expectation, as Kiroskai said, I think if my calculations are correct, and they hardly ever are, even at the fastest lap, at 2 minute 18, this should be the final lap for the leaders at least. So it does kind of lead me to think that Nismo has even more fuel on board than he needs, than we first thought. Battle for third place at the moment. Mercury ahead of Komakopa, who's got himself up to 4th place now, ahead of Junkai. Those two Porsches doing good. Batman is at the moment beating Superman. Jim confirms then he's got better head for maths than I have, as Komakopa is now gunning for a potential podium here, going around the outside of Mercury. Komakopa following him through, and the team doing a tremendous job there. Can he enter the corner? No, Junkai got ahead of both of them. It's that double toe situation once again. Fantastic to see. This is on board with Junkai. Look at the exit Junkai had as Komakopa was boxed in. I got the wrong Porsche. A Superman super speeds his way past Batman and Joker and up into that provisional podium position. Fantastic run there from both drivers. And the two leaders, Don't Need Time and Zen, are heading into Le Fania on this final lap of the race. Fantastic race we've had on our hands here today. Really, really enjoyable so far. I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have. I feel bad if I start saying that I'm enjoying myself and no one else is, but hopefully you are. You're still here at least live with us as Mercury's fuel mapping said Kiros Kai, or at least lifting and coasting Lyco into the corners. But really, so much of this lap is at full throttle. I think you're probably right that using the fuel map is the way to go. Here are the leaders coming down in towards the bus stop for the final time as the pretend safety car for Team Chameleons comes through of Don't Need Time. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but he scores the win in the end. Don't Need Time wins round 6, the penultimate round of the championship, ahead of rival Zen. And that puts the Chameleons ahead of Team Amazon as to finish. The two Porsches in their newly branded Warner Brothers colour scheme. Junkai finishes 3rd and Komakopa a popular 4th position, I'm sure. Glovas in 5th and Mercury in that 6th place. S. Berman will come through for Pike Fitness and that late pit stop really costing S. Berman, and he's got a quarter of tank of fuel still on board. Even if he was expecting one more lap, that's a bit crazy. Camzilla beats Nismo to the line. Nismo finishing there with even more fuel on board with Floody and Chaotica in that 10th and 11th. Izzy in 12th. We've got Larry coming through, having made a late safety car, having not quite put enough fuel on. Absolutely upside down strategy here for the Karate Tortoises. I think Larry knows I'm watching him and might just pitch it backwards across the line potentially. But Larry will finish on the lead lap. So will Preston as we finish up the race. There'll be an extra penalty applied to Larry's car, but he won't worry too much about that. Finishes P13, probably with his head down at the moment. We look forward to seeing his review of the race in the midweek. Don't Need Time though, your winner in the Genesis Team Chameleon car, and another really, really good result then for the Chameleons today, as well as for Zen and for Junkai and Komakopa. Best team result going by way of the Porsche Team Warner Brothers. Fantastic to see there from everybody. That is Zen then finishing, and then the two Porsches, Superman versus Batman it was in the end, and Superman coming out good. So Batman, Komakopa not tempted to wield the kryptonite there at the end. Gentleman driver says the overalls of Don't Need Time as he gets the pole position and victory with his Oreo helmet as well. The result then there is your provisional result. We may have a question mark over the restart situation, but perhaps some leeway will be given by the stewards thanks to the difficulty of restarting without a physical safety car. Fastest lap was given to Berman in it. Well, not given, earned by Berman in the end of 2 minute 18.133. Very quick and significantly quicker than even Don't Need Time. And finishing at the tail of the order, Nismo, Floody, Chaotica, Izzy, Larry and Preston. Thanks to everybody for watching. I really appreciate you all. And everyone that likes the video on their way out and shares with their friends. And the people, those folks who stay to watch it back after the case as well. We really appreciate you all here on the channel. Thank you for watching. This has been the Deviant Racing GTD Pro. Stay tuned. I will put the broadcast up imminently for the GTD series, followed by another race soon to come. But thanks for now to everybody. Thanks so much for watching. We will catch you on the next race day.